I mean, was it a boy or a girl that you adopted?
A boy.
Boy.
He, that's kind of weird question. He was technically 4 months old, but he was born 4 months early.
Okay.
So he was in the hospital for 4 months. For children born that early, they do adjusted age, which basically you subtract out the time they still should have been in the womb. So technically he was 4 months old, but he was really equivalent to a newborn. And he came straight from the hospital to our house.
Straight from. Do you know? I mean, without revealing too much like privacy issues, do you know what kind of a family he may have come from, or what it is that made him up for adoption?
Well, he's not up for adoption.
Faster.
But he. I'm just trying to think as to how much. I guess since we're not talking names. He was born with drugs in his system, and at a pound and a half, he had lots of medical issues. And when he came to our house, he was hooked up to something like 3 or 4 machines at all times. And because his parents didn't visit him enough in the hospital and learn about those machines, they didn't feel comfortable releasing him to them. They thought it would be dangerous. His mom, in fact, has other children at home.
Okay. So it was as a result of the parents' drug use that the drugs became part of his system, and he was born early, premature. Yes. Okay.
Well, I don't know what caused the premature birth, but it wasn't because of mom's drug use.
Okay, and then just in the hospital legally, they didn't feel comfortable releasing the child to the birth parents.
Right. Not because of the drugs, though, but just because they didn't go there enough to learn about his needs and what it took to take care of him.
But they had other children of their own, so for some reason or other, they chose that for this child they weren't going to take responsibility.
The parents?
Right.
I don't really know. I don't interact at all with the parents. So.
Okay, so there's no relation with the actual biological parents of the child. Is that typically the way it works?
Yeah, it's not typical. And that was actually caused some friction in our case early on. We misunderstood, is a charitable way of saying it, misunderstood that we could, in fact, just take a child. In this case, the child would have stayed at the hospital because they didn't have another home to go to. The closest home they had was Green Bay, and they didn't feel comfortable sending him to Green Bay because it was going to be too far from the hospital, and there was just too much of a chance he'd need to be rushed there. We were told basically we could have no interaction with the parents. Went back and forth, but ultimately we have had almost none.
Okay.